So grandma is here to take care of the baby. Time to make another bottle. So this time we will make this orange juice bottle. What's really interesting in this exercise is how we create everything. So we will make a sketch and extrude a main body. Then actually we will kind of like we were wood turning, revolve actually a cavity out. And then I will show you also how we can split the whole design into two parts and then add all these details. And this is actually a really good object to demonstrate how we would work in foam modeling can very easily be translated into CAD modeling. Okay, so let's get started. Top view, millimeters. We'll make a sketch on the ground plane. We will create a rectangle center point by 50 and 55 millimeters. Very good. So this is kind of like our block of foam, which we could extrude. Now we would go into the wood shop and take a bandsaw and curve all these sides, or basically would use a sander. Okay, so let's add actually this detail in the sketch and then we update our extrusion. To create the curved sides, we will use the arc 3-point command. So click, click, and click. I'm just loosely positioning everything. Oop, this is too aggressive. Right click, repeat. There we are. Cool. Okay, so next step will be horizontally constraining all these endpoints. So we have a square in here again. But now we see all these arcs are actually very different. Okay, symmetry, top, bottom, left, right. Sorry, I meant equal, not symmetry. How do we get actually this arc touch here? That is very easy. We can use the tangent control. So the arc should be tangent to there and should be tangent to there. Zack, there we are. Now, because the arcs are glued with the endpoints onto these lines, and these points are vertically or horizontally constrained, if I move one point, you see the other points move. And because we made the arcs tangent to these lines, it looks like the midpoint is attached to there. Very good. So now we can specify how much would we like this to arc. I know we have 83, or what's the distance actually? Yeah, 4. Cool. Why is this moving? That shouldn't, yeah, nothing is really moving there. Normally, I would assume there should actually be black too, but this is all good. Perfect. So now actually we drew the sketch onto our foam block, and then we can use the extrude command or the bandsaw and cut that stuff away. Okay, cool. Now, I only did this extra step kind of like to show how in the woodshop I would take a block, put the sketch on, and then use the bandsaw. Here, obviously, we do this by extruding the correct sketch from the beginning. So just the centerpiece there. Okay, nice. Now comes the wood lathe command. So we need from the side a profile which we revolve and then cut. So sketch from the front, click on this grid, and then a horizontal and a vertical, and then fit point, click, click. That's very good. Another line here. Okay, escape. Then this line we click and say construction. Click somewhere else and dimension this line to the ground point to be at 110. This is actually like a guideline. So at this point, this curve has to be there. Very good. Okay, so now we can actually move this a little bit to there, bring this to there, but this is now a line. How do we curve this? Well, with the handles here, we can bend and then stretch this curve a little bit. Maybe get a little bit lower. And there, you see how this runs through there. And then with this, we can specify how big or how narrow will be the neck. Maybe a little bit like this. I need to figure out what is actually this distance. So let me quickly go back to my sketch here. That is 25 millimeters. Okay, so now from here to the green line, I would like this to be 25 millimeters. And I can do this by dimensioning this point to the ground point, 25. Very good. Okay, very nice. I can dimension those a little bit more, like 20, bring this closer, maybe bring this a tick further down. If I would like this to arc more, maybe this line here will extend, then I have to bring this further up. M command allows me to do this smoother. Yeah, maybe like this. Cool. Okay, so exit sketch, revolve this one along our z-axis. Beautiful. There is the cut. And then when we go back to the sketch and adjust actually this curve and make this on purpose kind of narrow, you see how this changes. Pretty cool. Okay, now, so this is our next step in the wood lab, because we removed this part. Now we're actually close to meet the end of what we can do with foam modeling, because now we need to not necessarily slice this, but actually separate this top part from the main body, because we would like to carve out the cap. So we will make, maybe in this case, a new sketch so we can separate this, because one sketch for the base, one sketch here for the neck, and one sketch now for the cap detail. So click on this plane. And to make it visually easier, I will start doing this down here on the left side. Right side is this cut, left side is this part. D for dimension. 190 is the height, I know that. And I need a little bit of material for the cap, so -2. Or I could have written 88 directly. This we will specify to around 20, and then here a 45 degree, 90 plus 45, 135. To make this line less smooth, 20. Okay, so something can still actually move, and that is because this point is movable. So I would like this to be vertically constrained to here. I hope you see how repetitive all these steps actually are. That's the nice aspect here. So this can move. And here we have a dimension of 17.5. Okay, good. Now we might later have to adjust this a little bit. Very good. Okay. Finish. So now we have this line. So this line, I would like to revolve into a surface. So I go to surface, revolve, select this sketch along the z-axis. And you see now I have a surface. And this surface I can use as a knife. So we go to modify split body. It's also in solid split body. And the next step is important. We can select this and then select the splitting tool. But then you see, oh, it's just the surface and not the whole piece we made. So easier is when we select the splitting surface here. There you can see it. Click OK. Look, we have a new object. Cool. It separated it. So why do we do it actually this way? Very easy. You see this surface flows perfectly into this surface. This is also why we make one curve and not two curves. It's about simplicity and also making sure our surfaces are perfect. I could have drawn this curve in one and a second and with a lot of careful manipulation made the flow equal, but that is nearly impossible. And this is just more effective. Not necessarily a shortcut. This is just the better way. This is actually also really interesting about CAD. CAD is not about taking shortcuts, not making it simple or easy. It is about making it effective and trying to prevent complexity. Because we want to work fast and clean. Very good. So, I think this is maybe a little bit too small. So let's see what we can adjust inside our sketch. Maybe this one, oh wait, this is the wrong sketch. Maybe this sketch here. Here I will maybe move this over a little bit. So I change that flow and maybe here I move this down again. So it hits this point. Okay. You see now instantly I got a little bit more of material there. This is good. Okay. So bottle, there's my cap. Okay. Since we're splitting everything, let's continue splitting more because while the bottle is good, the cap sits perfectly on it and has an angled surface there. That's not good. This needs to be trimmed and I need to have 2 millimeters of a tolerance for threading. We can put this into this original sketch. 2 millimeters and then another line just to here and over. It's all perpendicular. And then horizontal, these two there. Beautiful. Good. So now what we will do is we will go back to surface, revolve, U, and that is good along the z-axis. So there's another object or splitting surface. Modify split body, this body, split by this surface. Okay. There, now we have this. And you see we have this and this surface and then this leftover geometry. We want to remove those. In the browser, select all three, right click, do not click delete. The moment we click delete, we really delete it out of the scene. And from the beginning, it's gone. Gone, 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 gone. Doesn't come back. We want, honestly, just to remove it right now out of our timeline. So I remove. You see here, there's like 3 remove features. When we go back, look, they're back there. No? Hopefully that makes sense. Again, remove is temporarily in the timeline, remove it. When I delete, it's really out of my file. It is gone. Okay, very good. So let's continue detailing it before we do fillets and everything. That should be at the end with sandpaper. We hide all these sketches. I would like on the surface to have some nice, interesting grooves. So let's go bottom view. So right here, cut this in. How can we do this? Well, I need to have a sketch right at the height maybe of this plane, and then we cut down. Okay, solid mode, sketch right on this face I had selected. Or let me undo and delete this feature. Sketch. You see how I can select this planar thing. Very nice. Then P for project. This ring and this ring. Now I see the inner and the outer edge. Okay, welcome to geometry. From the center point, we do a line and again, and then click and click, then escape. This should be horizontal, making this horizontal, and these lines from the center point to there and there makes them, the angles are the same, so that's symmetrical. This line should be a construction line, so escape, click, construction, and then D for dimension for this line, 10 millimeters. Cool. Finish. Okay, now we can take a look. Cool. Extrude this profile up, maybe minus 90. That looks good. We would like to have more of these features or surfaces. So create pattern, circular pattern. Faces and features sometimes might look the same. If I select this face and then go to here, 10, yeah, doesn't work now because I can't make this face in a volume. It's not logical. Okay, faces, yeah. So all these 4 along the z-axis over that. Okay, now that works. Okay. I selected all these faces, or alternatively, so I don't have to select all the faces, is I can go feature. This feature, please rotate around here 10 times. So you see, the feature command was faster. There we are. Now, since we are here, let's actually do our filleting. So I start on the top, 5 millimeters, way too much, 3, 2, yeah, 2 is fine. Now we have a nice top cap, so when our hand goes over it, it's not very sharp. The rest is actually pretty good. Let's do a section view. Yeah, this is beautiful. Why did we do actually this cut here? To save material. Otherwise, this would be a really thick cap. Lots of wasted plastic. Maybe per cap, not much, but if you make millions of these caps, that saves. It's also less wasteful. Then we can take a look at our object here. We will also start from the top. Okay, fillet U, maybe 1 millimeter, plus U 2 millimeters. This looks actually really good. Very nice. Okay. So how do we do our fillets here? This is actually a really nice exercise. Just watch what I'm doing here right now. I select all 3 fillets at the same time. You see I get this triangular shape and sharp corners here. That's not really nice. So what I have to do is I have to pre-fillet a certain set of edges. In this case, these are the vertical ones, maybe 10 millimeters. Very good. You see now how this is rounded. So when I now go ahead and say, okay, you 5 millimeters, there, nice and round. Here. We can also see how visually the size changes. While it is 5 millimeters, but that's the constant radius. Let's go to chord length and 5. There. Now you see this is much better. Cool. Okay. Very good. And then down here, 5 millimeters. Constant is fine. Okay. So for this step, this is actually all good. I previewed all the fillets. Now I can perfect them a little bit. So this is there. I set this to tangent. Let's make G2. So it is a tick nicer. You see how the transition, the start and the end is a little bit slower, particularly here where the mouse was. Not much, but enough. You see it on the highlights. This is all good. It can be mechanical, but here these edges I really will touch. So when I click this feature, it's there. Ah, there we are. So double click and G2 and double click G2. There you can even see the change in the highlight. Very good. So maybe take a look here if we can observe much of a change in the design between tangent. Oh, you see like it comes down and whoop, changes instantly. It's terrible. There it comes down, continues, changes, and then stabilizes. It will feel actually noticeably better. Down here, this at the bottom, we can keep it G1. Again, G2 features are more time consuming to calculate, so only use them when needed. Sweet. So 2mm for the shelling. You also notice that it took a little bit longer to shell. If we have all those G1 fillets, it will be faster. Front view, show this, turn this on. Oh, right view in my case. There we are. Pretty cool. Water bottle, an orange juice bottle made out of one big block of foam. And then we started carving and slicing everything, kind of like how we would do this inside the wood shop. Minus, of course, some tricks like the shelling. That's not something we can do with foam that easily. And that's it.